Okay, well, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it, and I will allow you to get to the beverages in a minute. But really, this is a very interesting story, and so interesting that I came out of semi-retirement. I'm living in Park City to actually move U.S. Gold forward, and particularly CK Gold project. Cautionary notes on forward-looking statements. So really, what is U.S. Gold? U.S. Gold was an exploration company. They were sitting on an asset in Wyoming. I was asked to take a look at the asset because there was a notion to monetize it to promote the exploration in Nevada. Having been in operations and mine development for 40 years, 16 years with Barrick, put a couple of mines in South America and Goldstrike in Nevada. I looked at this and said, heck, you'd be crazy to let the CK asset go. So I had to put my money where my mouth is, and I've been working on this for a couple of years now with US Gold. So we've got the near-term production asset, which is the CK Gold project in Wyoming, and then district-scale exploration, which we're getting zero value for. Well, that's not quite true, and I'll tell you in a moment why. And then we've got an additional asset in Idaho. But let's see why is U.S. Gold not necessarily well recognized? Well, part of the reason is because we're on the NASDAQ exchange in the United States. We've got a couple of folks covering us down there, and Red Cloud just came out with coverage with a $15 share price target. We have been caught in the downturn. We put a pre-feasibility study out. We were about a $75 million market cap in December, after our PFS in December 1st. And we got redemptions, not redemptions related to our project, but we had some crypto folks in the stock, and they had to sell, and then you get a snowball effect on top of the downturn in the general economy. But really, we've got a very tight share structure, 8.34 million shares outstanding. So, management insiders were about 9% of the ownership. We've got cash, 6.1 million as of July, and we just concluded a transaction, non-dilutive, non-encumbering the key asset for another almost $3 million. So we're cashed up. And ESG, very important. I'm not about to sully my career at this stage, and we look after things. So I'll just get straight into the CK Gold project. So it's called CK Gold because it's copper. It used to be called Copper King, and I'm going to go back to calling it Copper King Gold because copper's really very in vogue at the moment, and gold and copper, they're going to come back. So we're in Wyoming, and as you look at Wyoming, if we were in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, forget it. We wouldn't be talking here. But we're in southeast Wyoming. In fact, you can see just at the bottom of the screen there's a granite quarry, Martin Marietta Granite Quarry, just 3 miles to our south. It's a mining part of the world. Wyoming has got just shy of 600,000 people. They mine coal, Powder River Basin, oil, gas, trona, a little bit of uranium. So gold and copper is a new avenue at a time when coal is out of favor. Nobody's building any new power stations. And we're situated, importantly, you can see in the inset there, on Section 36. That is state land. So we'll be putting a mine in there on state land. The Office of State Lands and Investment have a mandate to find the highest and best use of their portfolio. At the moment, they're getting about $1,300 for grazing fees from our local rancher, and we're looking at probably paying them a royalty of $20 to $30 million. The surrounding land, and this is really important, is private land, and that's our local rancher friend, fifth generation rancher, and so we're on private and state land. The only nexus to the federal government would be if we were affecting waters of the US. We had a determination last year that we would be non-jurisdictional, so we submitted our permit to the Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality last September, September the 13th. We've gone through the completeness review. We feel that we can have a permit in place by the end of next year or early 2024. That's unheard of. We're in a safe jurisdiction. We're not in the back of beyond, and we can get this thing permitted. Logistically, we're at the bottom of the screen, just by that quarry, you've got the Interstate 80. The Interstate 25 is right there. Union Pacific Rail Line. We've got power nearby. And water. The body of water that you can see near the property is actually a reservoir. It's near to a state park. Everybody said, oh my goodness, you're never going to get a permit next to a state park. Well, yes, we are. We're actually going to buy our water from the city of Cheyenne. The city council just approved that 2 weeks ago. And rather than being a problem for the state park, we're actually going to save it because they need to create additional water storage capacity. Without us and the exhausted pit, they would have to increase the impoundments on the reservoirs. So it's a really good news story. We buy water from the city, we put money in their coffers, and at the end of the day, we're going to not only save them a big capital project by making available the open pit for water storage. The other aspect of the project that folks thought, well, it's not particularly high grade. We'll show you the reserves and resources. We have over 1 million ounces of gold and 248 million pounds of copper. And we have extensions to the ore body, but what I wanted to do was put a value proposition around the gold and copper that we know that we have, and this is actually the headline numbers from our pre-feasibility study, which was published on December the 1st of last year, and it gives a good snapshot of where the economics sit. On a gold equivalent basis, it's got an AISC of $800 per gold equivalent ounce. And it's very robust so it's robust on the downside, highly leveraged to the upside, and our economics were done at $16.25 gold, $3.25 copper. So at 20,000 tons per day, this thing pays back in a couple of years. And we can certainly look at the $323 million of net present value, 265.7 after tax. But that's not the end of the story. It keeps getting better. Here's just the reserves and P1, P2 reserves. This is an SK 1300. We're listed in the United States, so we're not NI 43101, but it's equivalent. And we've got, as I say, P1, P2 million ounces of gold, 248 million pounds of copper. On a gold equivalent basis, that's 0.7 grams per ton. Why does that make sense? Well, it's because we've got a very low strip ratio, outcrops on surface. Some of the best material is at surface, very low process cost. We dry stack the tailings. I'm going to skip over this in the interest of time. It's a very simple process. So we essentially do open pit mining, 100, 150 ton trucks, 20-yard excavators into a primary crusher, SAG ball mill combination, flotation, concentrate off-site to a smelter. The concentrate is a 20%, 26% copper con with 2 to 3 ounces of gold. Very valuable concentrate. It's got no arsenic, no mercury, no fluorine. It's got a good flux characteristic, so it's going to sell, and we can ship it locally or far afield to get the best price. When I talk about the environmental side to the local people, we're not doing metal extraction on site, so there are no nasty chemicals. We really just ship off about 6 trucks a day off to the smelter, so there's no stack and emissions from the project. We're very conscious out west, conservation of water, so we do dry stack tailings, and that really means that we don't have a tailings dam to have a problem with. So really clean, simple operation. I started in August of 2020. We went straight into a program to prove up the work that had been done in a pre-feasibility study by Mine Development Associates. SGS testing circa 2012. We did additional testing. Last year we put that pre-feasibility study out. This last year, we actually did all the field work associated with the feasibility study. So that is done. So we've done all the heavy lifting behind our permit application and the feasibility study. We're ready to go. The feasibility study's in the can, but I'm going to wait a little while to see how things shake out with inflation, fuel prices, supply chain issues. So, that's where we are with the feasibility study. So our burn rate now is very low. Upside potential. As I said, if you look at the pit there, the mineralization extends below the bottom of the pit and out to the southeast. So it's going to get bigger, but rather than spending treasury on expanding the resource, put the value proposition around what we've got, get it permitted, and then we can move on. It's a part of an old mining district. It's a very old porphyry, and we just had Dick Silito on site to look at that. So look, permitting, advanced engineering, it's all done. We're actually looking at making some money from 30 million tons of rock, which is going to be sitting on surface as a consequence of the gold and copper mining. Our neighbors, Martin Marietta, are selling that same rock for $18 a ton, and we got 30 million tons sitting in a pile. So that's a nice little add-on to the project. Pit water storage in the mined out pit, and we can move it along quickly. The project puts out about 108,000 gold equivalent ounces per year for 10 years. It's going to get better, but it's front end loaded, about 135,000 gold equivalent ounces the first 3 years. I'd be remiss not to quickly talk about exploration. We don't get any benefit for it. You can see we've got 2 projects, one on the Carlin Trend. We just released news today that we drilled it last year. We found the Popovich Formation next to Gold Quarry. Barrick's all excited about it, so Newmont Gold Mines bought it off us for just shy of $3 million, and retain the opportunity of a royalty. The other project is Keystone, and Keystone is 20 square miles on the Eureka Cortez Battle Mountain Trend. Screaming arsenic anomalies. Certainly, when you look at that, there's an opportunity. We've got the all-important Wendan 5 formation and near-surface oxides. So with that, I am about of time. This is gone now, Maggie Creek. We just sold it. And again, Chalice. So with that, great board of directors. We can do it. It's a great project. Thank you.